Hello, I am Peaches and your host of On Location TV. They are sweet, popular worldwide, and prepared in various shapes. Research claims its existence back to 1847, and everyone has had one or more, glazed, injected with jam, powdered, and the list goes on. If you haven't guessed, it's a donut. My guest today opened his doors in 1989. Mark Scurlock, owner of Scurlock Donuts. He is here today to give us the 411 about the sweet success of his business. We're going to take a break and we'll be right back with the show. We're back and you're watching On Location TV with my guest today, Mark Scurlock.
Hey, Peaches.
Welcome to the show.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good.
And I always have to say, people say, every time I open up, welcome to my house.
Okay,
This
I'm
is
here.
my house.
I'm here. I'm gonna
So
see
I
if
want to
I.
make sure that you're comfortable.
Okay.
And we're sitting back and we're going to talk about Mark Scurlock.
Okay.
Of course, we're going to talk about those because
Yeah.
you can't see us without that.
The
So people
donuts.
see that.
That's it.
So they kind of got the 411 on what we're going to be talking about. But
Okay.
before we get into talking about Scurlock's Donuts,
Right.
you're the owner,
Right.
CEO.
That's it.
I
Mark
like that.
Scurlock. That's
Every
it.
time somebody watches the show and I bring somebody on that's
Mhm.
the CEO,
Yep.
I like to say that term,
That's right.
CEO.
That's
It
it.
sounds really good. I know it really sounds good to you.
It does. It does. It's paid off. A lot of years of hard work and
Uh-huh.
having a vision and to still be around and in business.
Okay.
It's a great thing to be CEO and
Okay.
owner of your own business.
Well, we're going to talk about that in just a second. I know a little bit about Mark Scurlock, but I
Okay.
want you to introduce yourself to the city of Jackson. Who is Mark Scurlock?
Mark Scurlock. I moved to Jackson back in 1983.
Uh-huh.
I met my wife in Clarksdale, and we moved to Jackson because she had lived here before. I was very unfamiliar with Jackson.
Uh-huh.
I've only been here one time before I moved here, so
Oh, okay.
everything I learned was new. Didn't have any skills
Uh-huh.
in particular. I went to a junior college, Kahoma Junior College.
Oh, okay.
I took carpentry up, but when I came to Jackson, I didn't pursue that field.
Uh-huh.
I ended up working for a construction company. Did that for a couple of years, and ended up working at North Park when
Uh-huh.
North Park first got started.
Right,
when it was
right.
Small Park then. But I worked there for about a year and a half. Left there and worked at a couple of convenience stores. Ended up
Uh-huh.
managing a convenience store, and so everything was new to me in Jackson. I didn't really know anything about donuts,
Uh-huh.
so this was new to me.
Uh-huh.
And I was unemployed for a little while, and I got with Manpower.
Uh-huh.
And Manpower sent me to meet a trucker from Memphis to deliver donut supplies
Uh-huh.
to the different donut shops in the Jackson area, which, I didn't even know where the other donut shops was because from the Delta where I'm from, we didn't have donut shops like
Right,
that. So
right.
it was going to be a new experience to me, and then that was going to give me a chance, I guess, to see where all the donut shops were. Well, the trucker never made it. He never showed up. And the people that I was talking to at the donut shop, letting them know that I was fixing to leave and that I was with Manpower, they offered me a job.
Right on site.
Right on site, to wash dishes and
Uh-huh.
sweep and clean and eventually get into delivery. And of course, being unemployed and had a family to take care of,
Right.
it was work,
Right, right.
So that's how I got started or introduced to donuts. But I didn't know anything about donuts.
Oh, okay, okay. So you just kind of had you had a skill. You went to Kahoma Junior College
Yes.
and learned a skill.
Learn the skill.
So, as they say, sometimes when we do that, going to a college, we have a vision of what we're going to do, have it all planned out,
Yep.
and then it goes left,
And
go right,
Okay.
of totally what we went to school for.
That's
And I
right.
can say the same thing.
That's right.
They went to school for something else and went on to do something else.
Yep.
But that, like you said, was a door, open a door for you to kind of lead you to what you're doing now.
It is, and it was almost like a calling for me,
Uh-huh.
because after I started working with them and saw what they was doing,
Uh-huh.
I enjoyed the work. I mean, it's hard work. I mean,
Uh-huh.
one thing I'm gonna tell people about donuts, Most people think you just take it and stick it in the oven and you're through, but don't. It's work. It's an art, you know, and I have mastered my art, you know, because I learned what it takes to produce the type quality product I want, you know, and I try to separate myself from other donut shops. And so that was my goal once I got into business. Well, let me see if I can come up with something that's different than most donut shops.
Right. Well, let's roll back a little bit because you kind of gave us a lot of information, but let's roll back a little bit as to, we know that you got where you got your start, basically. Tell us a little bit more about how you went from that first experience, job experience, and you went on to another donut shop, right?
Yes. Well, when I started with the first donut shop, it was a family-owned business, and I mean, I worked my way up real fast because I went from, like I said, washing dishes and pretty much just a helper to being one of their delivery guys around town driving the donut shop, because they produce donuts for like Cabot Lodge or the different hotels, you know. So I had a route that I would take every morning, and that was a very important job, you know. And I went from there to making biscuits, you know, because I kind of, you know, I absorb things when I'm around, and I saw them doing the biscuit, and I even told the lady that was making them, like, I think you can do that a little better, a little different. And she like, what are you talking about? I said, well, if you look at that biscuit, you make it up, then you knead it. I said, each time you knead it and make it, you're packing that dough, you know. So I came up with my own concept of making a softer, lighter biscuit, you know. And
so
for them,
always learn.
And they was in business, and that kind of helped me to escalate a little more in the business. So I went from delivery to kind of helping out in the kitchen, you know, started some cooking, baking muffins and doing biscuits and different little things. And one weekend, the gentleman that was cutting donuts for the donut shop, he injured himself, you know, he messed his wrist up. So he was out of commission for at least a couple of months, 2 or 3 months. Well, they brought in this gentleman that taught them how to make donuts. But he was an elderly guy, you know. He didn't mind because he helped them, because he used to want to help them get started, and they needed someone to cut donuts, you know. So after a couple of weeks, I told him, I said, well, he don't seem like he's enjoying that. I said, I'll learn how to make donuts. I can do that, you know. And I was born with a small hand, which is no problem with me, you know, because I worked with it all my life. And I guess in their mind, they probably thinking, how he gonna make donuts, you know? So we went on about a week or so. So finally, they listened to me. I said, I think I can do that, you know. So I went from muffins and biscuits to learning how to make donuts, because I had 2 experts there, the person that taught them and the guy that had messed his wrist up. And they sit there and gave me all the techniques of how to do it. I sit there and I learned it, and I enjoyed it. So I ended up being their cutter, you know, from that incident, And that's how I got to learn how to cut donuts. If that hadn't happened, I probably would still be washing dishes and you know, doing my normal thing for them, you know. And so as I started doing it, I started getting better and got to the point where I didn't even need them anymore. The older guy that had helped them, he didn't have to come anymore. And then when the guy came back from his injury, they still let him be the cutter. So, so I had a very important.
Your position, so to speak.
That's it.
And they saw, evidently, they saw the worth in what you were doing, that you could handle the job, so to speak.
It was, it paid off, you know, because, like I say, under circumstance, I probably would never got that opportunity, you know. And then they had to show me what they needed done, because I was making it for them, you know. So all the little keys and the little tricks and the little things that you learn, I learned that from them, because I wanted to make donuts just like they was making them. Because when you're in a business working for someone, you want to try to do the same thing they're doing. Because if I had got in there and wasn't cutting the donuts right, well, it wasn't really going to reflect me. It was going to reflect their business, because the products they were sending out would have been warp-sided or not bright or, you know, different, you know. So, it worked out perfect. So it was in their best interest
to teach you.
That's it.
Because they were not going to close their doors.
That's right.
Because somebody was injured.
That's right.
So it just...
It balanced itself out. And they had 2 other brothers there that worked there. They didn't show any interest in wanting to learn how to do the cutting. They did more of like frying the donuts and finishing and filling the orders and stuff. But I was very aggressive about what I wanted to do. I thought, man, I like that, you know.
So did you have that vision at that time, or even the thought of this is maybe something that you wanted to make a career out of?
Yeah. Well, after a little time passed, and I saw it was working, and they was proud of me because I didn't get any complaints from them. They were very supportive, you know. And I told myself, oh, one day I'll open me a donut shop up, And of course, when you say it, a lot of people are like, yeah, okay, yeah, good, yeah, sure you will, And
and you did.
And I did,
Okay.
I worked with them for about 2 years,
Okay.
and I decided to move on. After certain things had went along, I ended up working at another donut shop.
Okay, and before you get into that, we're going to take a break.
Okay.
And we're going to come back, and
All
we're
right.
going to continue this road to success.
That'll work
as
then.
to where you are right now. So we're going to take another break, and we'll be right back.